telegraph was invented in 1837 by Samuel F.B. Morse. Telegraphy is known as the process of using a form of communication known to both the sender and receiver to transmit data. Some forms of communication that were used before the telegraph were smoke signals and creative uses of reflective light. The first telegraph was very large and took up a lot of space. It was very bulky and not many people had them. The first one worked by transmitting electrical signals over a wire laid between stations. Morse was also the one to invent the Morse code, hence the name. The Morse code was a set of dots and dashes to each letter of the English alphabet that allowed a simple transmission of complex messages across telegraph lines. The first telegraph message was sent overseas in 1844. The telegraph had many positive effects. It helped to deliver messages over long distances in merely seconds. It helped sailors out at sea to get a message to land. Most of the communication cost between businesses was drastically reduced with this invention. Even though the telegraph had many positive effects, it also had many negative ones. More children were put to work in factories because more people wanted telegraphs. The result of more working in factories also resulted in more deaths. One of the main negative effects was the rise of pollution from the factories. Some challenges faced with the telegraph were how large it was. It was not mobile and took up a lot of space. Also, before the telegraph, instant communication was virtually impossible. You would have to wait days or weeks before you received a letter from someone. There was also a huge investment cost put into the telegraph, which made this a very risky invention. Stringing lines for this also took up a bunch of space and time. Some design changes over time were, for one, the size. It's changed dramatically. The most modern telegraph is about the size of a hand compared to the original one that took up a whole table. Eventually, it had to require methods of encoding in order to strengthen the signal between both endpoints. What the telegraph has evolved into today is the telephone, fax machine, and internet.